come a long way since Sam Reigel played Terryon Darrington and his best friend Doty. The original Artificer spec was pretty limited and underpowered when compared to other classes, but Wizards of the Coast have come out and updated it, version 2.0. Throughout D&D's history, Wizards have been able to make magical items. There's even instructions in the DMG guide, but many DMs are uncomfortable with this. Part of the problem is they want to dole out magical items at their own pace. They're not sure what they can allow Wizards to do without burdening their game, without having things come unbalanced. Part of the solution to this was the Attunement System. Generally, people only get to attune to 3 magical items. But there are a number of low-level items, for example, Helm of Comprehending Languages, that don't require attunement. With the Artificer class, this perfectly fills the role for people who want to make things with their characters. All the magic that they use comes from their items. They can also make constructs that become friends and helpers. These constructs are almost always mechanical in nature, and they're sort of semi-intelligent and a lot of fun to play. Also, this really takes a lot of the pressure off of DMs because Wizards of the Coast have come up with a more formulaic way of making these magical items, and with the Artificer class, you have a pretty good expectation that it'll be balanced with other classes. This class, they'll start off by infusing common items with magical powers. This can then split into 4 main types of specialties: Alchemists, Archivists, Artillerists, or Battlesmiths. So these infusions involve enchanting weapons, armor, and different equipment. Sometimes this requires you to reach a certain level, and you may have to attune to the item before you can use it, but most are ready to go at level 1, if you have the materials. Usually this will include a +1 to a weapon or armor, and that will increase to a +2 at level 12. But some of these items are more unique, like there's a pair of boots that allow you to teleport in battle as a bonus action. There's an enchantment for several pouches so that they all use the same interdimensional pocket to store things. In some ways, it's kind of like a poor man's bag of holding. And these pouches can be up to 100 miles apart and still reach into the same pocket. So let's say you've got a thief who's stealing stuff in the town. You can have other people waiting in another part of town and take those items out of the pouch in another part of town. So let's say, for example, you have a thief who's being all cat burglar stealthy, and he's stealing stuff from a rich person's house or picking someone's pockets. He can slip it into his own pouch, and you can have a party member who's back in the inn taking them out of the pouch. So if the rogue gets searched, nobody's going to find anything. Another cool feature is you can have your weapon light up at around level 8. So think of Sting from The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. But the cool thing is, as a bonus action, not as bonus action, as a reaction, you have a chance to blind your opponent. And in addition to this, there's a handy table of many magical items that you can replicate. And there's different tables for lower level items and then items that are level 12 and above. So many of the lower level items are sort of more utility, and many of them you don't need to attune. So they're quite nice to make. Now the only potential downfall to this is if your DM has you playing in a low magic world. Well, I mean, you could be a one-stop, technologically advanced Costco, where people from all over would come to, let's say, get a cap of water breathing, right? That would make it much easier for fishermen, pearl divers. So it still does have a chance to unbalance your world. Getting into the specializations, the first one is the Alchemist, and their specialty is combining exotic reagents and producing mystical effects. So they'll start off with an alchemical kit and an herbalism kit. And it's through these kits or tools that the Artificer is able to use their craft. So the Alchemist is very good at healing and also making deadly chemicals like poisons and acids. So at a third level, they can make a homunculus. An artificial creation doesn't necessarily have to be mechanical, this one, but it will have wings. So you could do, let's say, a bird that would fly around and heal people, or it could be just a simple vial that has wings on it. In combat, you can use a bonus action to heal people or to shoot poisons, and there are some other effects that can help the party. The rest of this specialization upgrades at 12 and 14, and it basically just makes the heals and poisons more powerful. The next specialization is the Archivist. Their job is to record information and have it stored on scrolls and other items. So they get a bonus to making scrolls. At the third level, you can inscribe a glyph on any mundane object, and it awakens its quote-unquote mind. So sort of an inner spirit or something for each object. The object then acts as an advisor and gives you new proficiencies. So depending on what kind of object you inscribe your glyph on, based on what they're made, they'll change what proficiencies you have. So you could have different objects and change your proficiencies during the game based on what you need. Later upgrades have some pretty cool features, like using these objects, you can give some to other people and you can speak telepathically with them. So sort of mobile phones of the day. And you can also increase psychic damage and become pure information and teleport a short distance. Wizards of the Coast is really promoting the Artillerist. They specialize in using magic to create explosions and make defensive positions, as well as giving you magically infused sidearms, especially wands, that you can use in battle. I don't know how useful this is going to be, but we'll see. At third level, you can build a magical turret that can act as a defense in your party's position. It's often, they quote, a flamethrower, which sounds nice, I guess. In subsequent levels, you can upgrade wands that use your intelligence bonus to increase damage rolls, and also advanced turrets that provide cover as well as attacking, and later on you can summon 2 turrets at once. Since these turrets don't seem to be able to move, I'm not really sure how useful they'd be in combat. I mean, it's cool if you're defending a castle or a fortress, but in most combat situations, it just doesn't seem all that handy. And the last specialization is a battlesmith. They specialize in making and repairing people and equipment. At level 3, you can build some kind of a mechanical animal, although I believe it's not a flying one, and they'll accompany you into combat. Later upgrades give the battlesmith the ability to channel arcane energy through their weapon as bonus damage, and also through their iron defender. So in all of these specializations, the default action for your companion is the dodge action. Each of them has certain actions that it can also take, but you have to use your bonus action on your turn. So that's a quick look at the new Artificer, and it seems to fill a very nice niche in D&D, because a lot of people like to build things sort of get more into cyberpunk. And this is a really nice way to bridge that, where the original classes, even though you can make stuff through Wizard, it's a little bit clunky, and most DMs sort of don't know what to do with it. So this really allows people to expand their imagination and have some fun.